Hello, fellow rebels and game engine and game developer enthusiasts out there. Today it's our February monthly get together for Rebel Toolbox, which is Rebel Engine as the main game engine, as well as Rebel documentation, Rebel script, Rebel editor, and so on. So we have Marcel,
Yeah.
and you have myself, Daniela. Do you want to start, Marcel, or should I get going?
No, if you want to start, that's great.
Okay, so the biggest news from my side is that I now have a new working space. Yes,
Ooh,
a little corner that I call my office has been created, it's been established, and that means a lot of stress and pressure and hassle from the end of last year is dropping off, and I finally get around to some peace and quiet and picking up where I left off last year. So, yes, I am picking up, which means not a lot has happened. My first task will still be to create some educational pieces. First of all, written up within the documentation section, and then turned into some videos, kind of follow along videos for anyone who would like to use Rebel Engine, and then the other tools we have as well, of course. But I'm going to start with Rebel Engine and work my way through it methodically and in an organized fashion. Now,
sounds good.
if you have any priorities, or if you think, oh no, let's do Rebel documentation first, or let's do something else first, then do write into us, get in touch, and we can prioritize accordingly.
Sounds good.
Unfortunately, that was all for me.
Okay. So lots to come is basically
Yes.
the message. That's good. I think the main thing is to highlight the fact that we now have 7 contributors to Rebel Engine. So progress is slow, but we are getting more and more contributors towards Rebel Engine, which is great news. Again, not being able to do a lot in the last month or so, but have been able to get quite a few of the things off my to-do list around, particularly around the Rebel branding, going through all the code and checking to see where Rebel branding needs to be applied to make sure that we don't hit any copyright issues going forward from the code that we've imported as the basis for Rebel Engine. So although we are free to use the code as much as we like, obviously there's copyright issues. It should the original code writers say you can't claim to be our engine, even though we can use their code. So that's nearing completion. There's just the modules, the bits of code that relies on third-party code that is included in Rebel Engine that I need to go through, and that I'm doing in combination with making sure that all the third-party code is up to date and is using the latest version and things like that. So we've made good progress on that front. We've also spoke last time about the Rebel Projects Manager. So completely written the Projects Manager, which is the tool that you get when you first start Rebel Engine. Basically adding projects, renaming projects, removing projects, just your manager for all your game projects that you may be working on. That tool that starts up when you first start Rebel Engine before you actually start opening up one of your games. It's the tool that allows you to select the game. And the main reason for that is that we want to focus on making Rebel Engine as compatible as possible. So if you've been developing a game in a different engine, that you're able to bring that game across into Rebel Engine and to be able to upgrade it to use Rebel Engine as easily as possible. So taking your old games that you've been using different engines, and you want to now use Rebel Engine to be able to migrate across to Rebel Engine and upgrade that. So be able to make that tool as flexible as possible. So one of the things we've found with obviously working with Rebel Engine, looking at the code, is that it's very difficult to maintain. One of the priorities around Rebel Engine and creating Rebel Engine in the first place was to get rid of a lot of the technical debt, the code that had been created in the past that nobody could support, nobody knows why it was done in a particular way, and also one that does follow good practices with regards just to general good coding practices. So projects manager has been completely rewritten to be modular, to be easy to maintain, to be easy to understand, to be easy to expand on and add to, and to enable us to be able to import games from other engines, we obviously need to be able to quickly add a new module for any game engine that comes along, and then plug that into the projects manager, which we weren't able to do before. So that change request is not there yet, but the pull request is not there yet. But once the projects manager and the initial changes that we're making to Rebel Engine, improvements that we're making to Rebel Engine as we go along, that we can also automatically upgrade any projects. So if you've been creating a project in Rebel Engine even, that it will automatically update the projects to work with the new code base and the new updates and changes. So for example, one of the areas we've been looking at recently is the cursors. So for those that don't know what the cursors are, it's basically the pointer, the mouse pointer, the little arrow that you normally see on the screen when you're moving it around. You may notice that sometimes when you move it across a certain area, the mouse pointer will change, or if you're dragging and dropping something, the mouse pointer will change. And those little images that you have for the cursors are, for the mouse pointers are called cursors. So those little images are the cursors. Now, looking into the cursors, there's a lot of inconsistency, not only within Rebel Engine, but across platforms as well. So the cursors that are available to Linux users are different to the ones available to Windows users, which are different again to the ones available to Mac OS users, which again are different to the ones available to, for example, the web platform. And the inconsistencies about what is actually even available, never mind the fact that we're trying to use some consistent cursors across the platforms ourselves within Rebel Engine, has provided a very interesting bit of research and the history of cursors and things like that, and different Windows development platforms, how they've tackled that problem going forward, and also again created new inconsistencies. So if you look at different web development environments, Windows development environments, you'll see that they have different types of cursors, even though they're now consistent across the platforms. They themselves have different cursors which are not standard across the operating systems. So not only have we had some inconsistencies within Rebel Engine that I'm busy addressing, but also try and make them as consistent as possible across the different operating systems, and also try and provide a standardized set of cursors so that it's logical to, when you're creating code, that you want your cursor to change to what is it actually going to change to. Trying to understand the difference between what it means to move something and what it means to drag and drop something. Is there actually a difference there or not? So having a look at that. If anyone else has worked with cursors and those particular images around mouse pointers, or designed them, or understands user interfaces design and things like that as to what would be a good standard going forward, please get in touch, and we can work on that and make sure that Rebel Engine provides a nice, consistent environment for people wanting to create cross-platform games.
Good.
Other than that, we've put in a number of fixes as we've been going along, discovering a few fixes and improvements. And it's been slow, but I think it's steady progress, and hopefully we can increase the number of changes and things going forward now that the new year started and we're both a bit more settled.
Yes, and also, pardon me, also that the new year started. If any of you still need a hobby for this year, or a goal, or New Year's resolution, why don't you join us? There are lots of things that are still outstanding that we need to do. There are lots of ways we can improve Rebel Engine or any of the other tools in our toolbox. And of course, communicating with the community out there, again, is a very worthy task that needs a bit more attention. So join us, have a look at what we have to offer. And if you think that you like a very positive, friendly, open and inclusive environment, then join us and see how you can contribute yourself.
Yeah, particularly if you have a game engine that you use at the moment that doesn't fulfill something that you're after, and you'd like that to be prioritized. We're open to the input to to understand what people's priorities are with regards to the game engines and what they're trying to achieve. I know other game engines have issues that have been open literally for over 10 years that are important to people that haven't been addressed, and that's one of the things we want to make sure that we're doing with Rebel Engines, addressing the important issues first, and making sure that it's the game designers that we put first, not the game engine developers and whatever new bit of code they want to work on.
Yes, well said. And that also tells you that we don't only look for people to contribute time fixing things, but we also need people to tell us what needs fixing.
Yes.
And whilst we currently focus very much on the game developer and game designer aspect of things, if you're a game engine developer, you're more than welcome to join us. And also, if you are an artist or an art designer, an audio creative person, do feel free to join in as well. I know that there's no big game, no good game, say that way, no good enjoyable game out there that doesn't have art and or audio in it. And it's just as important as the game engine itself. So anyone is welcome. We literally mean anyone. We are looking to create a community that is diverse, both in how we look as well as how we feel about things in the world and how we think and what we expect of things, especially of our Rebel Toolbox and the different tools in it. So have a look at what we have to offer. Think about whether you want to join us. If you don't have time at this point, but you think there's worth or there's value in keeping a free and open source software project going, please donate to us. We do have a Patreon page where you can sign up for monthly contributions, and we will set up a Stripe account shortly if you want to make a one-off donation. So there are lots of ways of keeping this project going, and there are lots of ways of getting involved yourself as well. And again, the focus is going to be on an inclusive and friendly and supportive community. So we will not be tolerating any trolling, any hate speech, or anything like that.
Exactly.
That's all from me this time round.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it from me as well. Like I said, slow but steady progress is the way forward at the moment.
Yes, and it all adds up in the end. Compound interest.
Exactly.
Okay, then I hope everyone has a good rest of the week. Keep safe, keep sane, and join us next month on the second Tuesday of the month. I believe it's the 11th of March. It's the same day as in February. So I hope to see you then. Do sign up, do get in touch, and we're hoping to hear from you. Bye bye.
Bye.